Test. Let's see. Is there a special?
Yes, so there's a special tune that comes in at the underlined parts.
Ashir Adonai ki ga.
Close.
Shus v'roch bo ramabayam ozi v'zimrat yavaili v'shua ze'eli ve'ad anvehu Elohei avi ve'amamehu.
But just in the first level, and you go to the first story.
Mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai mi kamocha negav hakodesh.
That's going to be on our yard.
Oh, you learned it from the...
And he ended up with some dogs.
Yeah.
Our dog. And
Like a knife in the
the neighbors
I know. It really is like so
posted us
awful.
and says, this is your dog, come get it.
Just love talking.
If you listen closely, you can hear it underneath the first four Wilhelm apartment.
Jesus. Wait, can you help me with something? Can you explain to me? Hold on. Can you explain to me? I don't understand what the controversy is of the tunnels that they've built.
So there are two different Lubavitch organizations. There's the people who, there's the who are legally actually in charge of Lubavitch International, and then there's the Shaving who are there every day, and who these are legally themselves.
Right.
They are. That is the distinction. And so the Rebbe, before he died, he said that he wanted to expand the sanctuary space. And so it's different. We're not doing that.
No, I was looking for the time and it wasn't up there.
It is 6:58.
All right.
But he said he wanted to expand the sanctuary, and then he died, and so it's like the church is nothing's allowed to change because these two factions are in war. And so
It's two factions.
right, and so Green said, we don't care about all these things, we don't care about having the permits. The Rebbe said to do this, and the Rebbe is the Messiah, so we're going to do this.
The tunnels are expanding.
The tunnels are an expansion of the space. They were doing their own construction work. It is,
So the city of New York.
and so the city of New York finally got involved when the Bahrain tried to take down the final wall and separated their tunnel from the living space. And the people said, no, that's not okay. And then the Bahrain went into the tunnel to try to stop that. And then we came in and then they filled up the tunnel with cement, and people were upset about that because now the Rebbe's vision can't be fulfilled.
Reminds me of Hamas and their tunnels. Can't hear tunnels.
Beth told her that much.
That's what?
Beth Dennis.
What about it?
Well,
Folded it?
yeah.
All right. Well,
Is it supposed to do that? I said, I don't know, but there's this really tall guy who wears it. Right.
so now you don't fold.
The reason it's perforated is so that hypothetically somebody could rip off half of it and take it as a see, here's this. Yeah, but that's the answer. Yeah, Crab Heights is a wild place. It's also maybe a mile from my apartment.
That's drama.
Like, I drive through it every time I drive anywhere. It's hysterical.
Shall we start? You want to start or you want me to start? Nice to see everyone here. Welcome back. Welcome and welcome back. And we are so happy to have newly engaged student Canner with us. And I know, Mazel Tov. And he's not the only pair that are engaged, but he's the one who's standing up here. He's the one who's closest to being engaged up here on the bima right now. And of course, Nashira is here with us, and we begin with the singing of Et Dodim. So nice again to see everybody. There are a lot of things to be aware of on this Shabbat. Indeed, Eli's going to be bar mitzvah tomorrow, so we're already starting to feel that joy, no question about it. But you should know that there is kind of like a joyous, it's called a bittersweet, sad, joyous reason that makes this Shabbat special. And you will notice that there are a fair number of musical selections by Nashira this evening that were written and performed by Debbie Friedman. So Debbie Friedman, in the most extraordinary, I don't want to call it a coincidence, I think more it's that the stars aligned perfectly for her, but she died, what is it, 10 years ago now? 11 years ago? On this, or coming up this week. The Gregorian date of her death was, I think, yesterday, but the Hebrew date is a little bit later this week, and this week is coming up, not tomorrow, but starting on Saturday night or Sunday this week is Shabbat Shirah, which is the Torah portion of Beshalach. And Shabbat Shirah means Sabbath of Song, right? And so that she would die on the Sabbath of Song, or the weekend of the Sabbath of Song, is more than just coincidental, it's spiritual. And because she is the architect of so much of the beautiful Jewish music, and so much of it's going to be sung this evening. And so a little special attention was clearly given to Debbie Friedman on the anniversary of her passing. So that's what makes it bittersweet, because the bitterness of losing her, but the sweetness of keeping her memory alive. So we're so glad that you're here. And we begin with, we began by listening to the beautiful sound of Et Dodim, but that was unofficially because we have not yet lit the Shabbat candles, which means we're waiting for the Shabbat candles for Shabbat to begin. And so I think we want to do it. So let's invite, if you don't mind, Eli, along with his parents and sisters, to join us here for the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And Eli is going to lead us in an English reading on page 121 before we do the blessing. So you're going to read from here to there. Let me just wait. So from here to there, you're going to go as these Shabbat candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Bravo. Get those matches. Mr. I know how to light matches. You got it? Now the second one. All right. Got it. All right, page 123 now. Just doing the first line. Here we go. Take this. You want to sing it? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Don't drink yet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziyat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim V'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava u'vratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. You can have a sip. Amen. Bravo. Put that cup back there.
What is it?
Wine, Audrey. All right, you can give me this. You go back to your seat. I'll see you in about an hour. We continue with Zamru Ladonai. It can be found on page 134.
Adonai
Beautiful. Our service continues with Lecha Dodi, which is on page 138, and it is our custom to do the first, second, fifth, and ninth verse of Lecha Dodi. So, and that's both page 138 and 139. And when we reach the ninth verse, I'm going to invite you to rise and face the entrance of the sanctuary as a way of greeting the Sabbath bride as the mystics did in 15th century Sfat. But in the meantime, for the time being, we continue with Lecha Dodi, page 138.
Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Yishmi'anu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'li tehila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela O Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelecha Ki mikor hameracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila O lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela O Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Hitoreri Ki va'orech kumi hori אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
Would everyone please rise and face the entrance to the sanctuary?
בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמונה, עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Remain standing, please. Our service continues with our call to worship, which is the Baruch Hu, page 146.
את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Ahavat Olam, God's eternal and everlasting love for our people and for the world. It can be found on page 150. אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח מדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נגע יומם ולילה. מאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני
אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Shema 152, uttering the uniqueness and unity and oneness of God. It's, when I was growing up, we called it the watchword of our faith. Now I just recognize it as a significant declaration and expression of our people. Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated, and you can, if you want, you can just think Stairway to Heaven. I know everyone was thinking it, so I just said it. Page 154, V'ahavta, join us.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Our service, so let's see, we're on page, we're on 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. So Micha Mocha is on page 158.
Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, Torah tehilot kosefele, Torah tehilot kosefele. Malechutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze eliyanu ve'amehu, Ve'eli anu ve'ameru Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 dai
Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. This is Hapores Sukkot Shalom, page 161.
Baruch atah Adonai Hapores Sukkot Shalom Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Hapores Sukkot Shalom Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom Baruch atah Adonai Hapores Sukkot Shalom Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Our service continues now with the Tefillah. Starts on page 164 with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and then goes on to 166, 168, and 170. In rapid succession, maybe we'll sneak in an opportunity to say what page number we're on. But if we don't give you a page number, trust me, it's 166, 168, or 170. It's one of those three. Nonetheless, I'd like to invite you to please rise. This is the Tefillah, page 164, beginning.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Uviagi Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai.
166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'Chavayot HaKol. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
170.
Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Yalelucha Selah. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. $173. Feel free to join me, by the way. This is English. I have confidence that you can do this with me. 173 top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue now with Shalom Rav, page 178. This is our evening prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael, v'chol het uv'chol shah nishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamivarech et Amo Yisrael. Shalom. Amen. All right, so this is the point in our service when we get to pause from the prayer book stuff and do a little bit more of the spontaneous or the how you're feeling stuff. And so we always begin with joy, and then afterwards we'll share a little bit of struggle if you want to. But if you've experienced joy and let's say recently, and you would like to share that joy, then we want to hear it. So all you have to do is raise your hand, and I'll call on you, and then we can experience, at least vicariously, your joy. Now, from time to time, we will also chime in with the words, "Ken Yehi." Those words simply mean, let it be, or may it be. So, you know, if we're hearing some joy and we just feel like we're just caught up in the moment, maybe we add a little bit of a Ken Yehi to it. And I'll help you with that. But in the meantime, if you've experienced joy, at least recently, and you want to share it, please raise your hand, tell me about it. Yeah.
On October 7th, I wrote to a friend of mine in Israel to find out how he was. And heard back just a week after it was okay.
That's really great. So, must have been concerning that it had been 2.5 months without hearing from him. But I'm glad you heard from them. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that beautiful news. Anybody else want to share joy? Yes.
Today is my husband's birthday, and his name is Chuck Anthony. He decided to be a couple. And we are with my son and his fiancée, who became recently engaged. So those are really good things.
Yeah, that is really good things. So the joy of knowing that your friends are out of harm's way in Israel, the joy of celebrating birthdays, especially with such luminaries, at least as far as the synagogue is concerned. As Chuck, the joy of being with a newly engaged couple, for all those joys, join me. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Anybody else want to share a little joy? Yes. A 97 on your math test. Impressive. Like, what was the specific subject of math?
It was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what we were.
Got it. Multiplication, maybe? You never know. Congratulations on your good grade. Really, really happy for you. Any other joy?
Yep.
Lisa? I'll get to you guys. You retired on Monday? So does that mean you are tired once again? Or does that mean something else? Because retired means I've gone through that whole tired thing and I'm looking forward to doing it again. No. First time. Mazel tov. You really deserve to be able to now look back and see what you've created and that's right, because the Oneg Shabbat has both of your fingerprints and your signatures all over it. Mazel tov on your retirement. Marnie?
I went thinking, oh, she's being forgetful, but she's not being forgetful. She was just adorable and moved better at 85. You know what I mean? She was there in November and she was even better than she was then.
That's great news. Mazel tov.
And my oldest daughter got a promotion and it's a pretty big one, so I'm excited.
Mazel tov on all counts. Promotions and visiting a rapidly increasing health-wise parent and the joy of retirement. Mazel tov to you all. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Go ahead.
This is a joy, sorrow, joy. Just getting all.
Okay.
My brother Gaza got out, saw his wife. Well, I think he actually was, but he was there shortly thereafter. Went back in, got wounded, ended up in the hospital, had surgery, but now he gets out and he's back with his family, so we're all very happy.
And how's the recovery from the injury?
It's
Slow.
It was in an area similar to where Forrest Gump was injured, but
Gotcha.
he's doing very well. Yeah.
Say no more. That's really very, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for sharing. Yes. All your family is in town for your bar mitzvah. That's amazing. It's nice to see everybody. Who's your favorite person to see? Never mind. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? More joy. I know there's people behind me. I'm just looking out here first. Yes. How nice. Please send them our love. Her mom and stepfather were amongst the early builders of this congregation. Chuck may have literally built this building. They contributed to being builders of the institution in general. Please send them our love. Other joy? Yeah, John.
Last Saturday, my brother, sister, and I put on a concert in memory of our parents, and we did it at the synagogue up in New York City where my dad was a camper for over 30 years. And it was just an overwhelming experience. It was a horrible weather day up there last Saturday, but despite that, we had over 400 people come.
Wow.
And a lot of them were my parents' vintage, so they made a big effort to get there. And it was just such a wonderful time of closure for us, and the music was great. And I saw kids who I hadn't seen in 40 years. I went to Hebrew school.
They're not kids anymore.
They were all not kids, but they were also trained for the bar club. This was by my dad. When they came, that was just a great experience.
That is beautiful. That's so beautiful. I'm really touched by that. I wish, yeah. Was it recorded?
It was. There will be a video at some point that I can send you.
Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see. Joy back here? Yes.
My daughter picked a venue for her wedding and a date.
Wow. Where's the venue? What's the date?
The venue is Chesapeake Bay Foundation,
Uh-huh.
which we liked a lot because all the monies go back to saving the bay. And the date, don't laugh, the date is September 20th, 2025.
Don't laugh because it's like in 2025, or don't laugh.
It's like way.
I know. I got engaged and married all within like 3 weeks of each other. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it felt that way. Other joy? Tell me more joy. Yes.
So I'm 72, and I've been working for 51 years full-time.
Wow.
Outside of a couple of months off for having babies. And I just met a financial planner. I thought I'd never be able to retire. In 1 year, I'm going to be able to retire. And I am so excited.
Mazel tov. That's
Don't
good.
tell my boss, though, she doesn't know.
I won't. That'll be our little secret. And anyone who's watching on the video camera. Jared?
Well, I mean, in the same vein, I'm a little bit younger than you, but I've been trying now for a few years to cut back my hours and spend more time with my kids and my family. And in 2024, I cut back to half time. I'm really excited.
Wow. See, the irony, of course, is, and half of the people in here will understand what I'm saying, half the people are like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I always thought about increasing my hours to get away from my kids. But, like half of you are like, yeah, I'm kind of with him. The other half are with, it's a 50-50 in here, or maybe 60-40, but I'm not, that's really beautiful. There's no question about it. You're lucky that you can do that. Other joy? Yeah, go ahead. So glad you're here. Wow. Mazel tov on birthdays, on near retirements, on wedding plans, on moving halfway towards retirement, only just so you can be around those people who you truly cherish more than, and I do agree with that, even though I sometimes want to get away from them. I do really like being around my children. And so for those things, join me. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can April 11th? Wow. Her sons, Beit Din and Mikvah, scheduled for April 11th. Mazel tov. Oy. Oy. They don't have a mikvah anywhere? I mean, isn't that worth the drive to St. Louis, I think? Yeah, but it's also 20-degree water. I'll do the drive so I can get out of 20-degree water. Other joy? Ooh, that was yours. All right, Baruch. Oh, yes. Wow, Mazel Tov. Bought a house. Son and daughter-in-law. Mazel Tov. Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, because you are the source of so much of the joy, or if not the source, at least partners with us in the many elements of joy that are in our lives. Amen. Now, along with the joy, of course, is a recognition of struggle and difficulty. Loved ones in our families, perhaps our friends, perhaps ourselves, do not have a full sense of shalom, which means wholeness. And sometimes that comes in the form of physical struggle and pain. Other times that comes in the form of emotional, of course, struggle and pain. And I hesitate even to do it in that order, to suggest that one is more significant than the other. They're both difficult and a trial for us, and we have a blessing that we say to help bring us to a place of appreciating the healing that is possible. And we recognize, of course, that prayers and words do not bring along healing quite as good as perhaps physicians might bring healing. However, what I do know is that that when you come together as a community and when you utter words that are part of our tradition, and when you hear other people sharing these same words along with you, it gives you strength and it gives you encouragement. And those things do very much contribute to healing. And so we take this quite seriously. And so I'm going to begin with the first half of a blessing, and then halfway through that blessing, I will pause and give people here a chance to share names. You can share a Hebrew name or an English name. You can say your own name or a loved one's name. These are names of people who are in need of healing. So the blessing starts this way. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, V'Yaakov, Ve'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel. Those words mean, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. Hu yivarech v'yirapet kol hacholim shalanu. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And so I'm going to kind of look this way, and when my eye meets yours, if you want to share the name of someone in need of healing, please feel free to do so.
Allison Herman.
Paul Katzman. Lori Eleanor, Stephanie Gerson, Ellie Sheva, Stephen, and Tommy.
Earl Collins, Mary Storch.
Heather Raymond.
Meg Robinson, Valerie Nichols.
Lisa Kelly. Amanda Brown.
Okay, Vishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuah hanefesh for refuah haguf, for healing of body and healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. And let us say amen. So if you turn to page 371, you'll see kind of like a some of the words of this song. This is not the Debbie Friedman version of the healing prayer that we may know well, but an extraordinarily beautiful version written by a classmate or a former classmate of Cantor Snyder's, and it's an absolutely gorgeous Misha Berach, and so I hope that you find this to be as meaningful as I do. We pause now for a moment of silence.
Shalom, Shalom, Iroma. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Le'akol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Shalom Bimromah Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Bimromah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael
So I know that when it comes to, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, most people think about that as a story to be told during Passover. And I will agree that it is a quintessentially Passover story. However, we Jews have the joy of hearing this story twice, and that's because it's this week's Torah portion, and last week a little bit, and next week's Torah portion. And Eli knows all about this because he's going to be a bar mitzvah tomorrow, and he's reading a lot of this Torah portion, the part about the plagues. But what's fascinating about this portion, at least in my opinion, is kind of how it all goes down between not Moses and Pharaoh, but rather how it goes down between Moses and the Israelites. And imagine this. So Moses, after talking with God at the burning bush, and comes into Egypt and says to all of these Israelite slaves, he's like, hey, good news, guys. No more slavery, and you're going to Canaan, to the promised land. And they look at him like he is crazy. They refuse to believe it. Now, there's a lot of reasons why they may have refused to believe Moses. One could just be, oh yeah, we've heard this story before. We're not getting freed and liberated from slavery. We are not going to Canaan, that's for sure. But the Hebrew that's used in the Torah to describe what happened, the Hebrew is that the Israelites were kotzer ruach. And kotzer ruach means like a shortness of spirit. Rashi actually has something, he says ruach is like breath, and they were out of breath. They were exhausted, so they couldn't believe him because they were so tired. That's what Rashi says, but I don't know. I think I just like the actual translation, shortness of spirit. In other words, they were just so dejected, so down, so depressed that they couldn't even experience joy. They couldn't even experience even hope. They were just refused. And Elie Wiesel, by the way, talks about a similar thing. He talks about what it was like in the camps. And he said that Jews would walk around with their heads down. There was no joy. There was no hope. There was no enthusiasm. It was just shortness of spirit. And that's how Wiesel described people in the camps. And that's how it was, at least we think, or we are led to believe, is how it was in Egypt too. But here's the thing. Moses actually, as I told you, shared two messages with the Israelites. The first one he shares is, good news, you're going to be liberated. And then the second one he sends is, and you're going to Canaan, and you're going to take back this promised land, which is yours. Right? And I think, one talks about the immediate moment where you're going to be liberated, and one talks about the future, and you're going to get Israel, get Canaan. And I think that perhaps one of the reasons why the Israelites were kotzer ruach, kind of short of spirit, is because Moses' message to them was so lofty, so grand, so remarkable that they just could not believe it. What do I mean by that? It's like you want us to buy into this whole thing about us going back to Canaan. Why don't you just start with just we're going to be liberated, instead of also making us, when you bring up this whole going back to Canaan thing, we just don't, I lose hope that this is realistic. And I even lose hope that the first part's true. Now, one of the people who knew this quite well is someone who we are celebrating on this weekend, not Debbie Friedman, although she may have known this message, but I'm talking about Martin Luther King, right? Think about Martin Luther King's messages, right? Yes, of course, we know the famous I Have a Dream speech. But when it came down to it, Martin Luther King, though admittedly was fighting hard for equality, but when it came to his marching and his fighting, it was for smaller things. Voting rights in a place. He wanted to make sure, he wasn't going to the place of hoping for an immediate change, full equality. He knew that would take time. But he knew that there were some things he could fight for. Voting rights, for fair hiring practices, for an end to segregation. And this was part of his legacy, was the fact that he was able to make smaller changes in addition to bigger changes. And he was able to enable a people to rally behind him and get behind him because they believed in what he was doing and what he was saying. If he had just said, we're fighting for equality, and left out the small victories and small battles along the way, people may have felt, I don't know if this is going to happen. They may have lost faith and confidence in this. But his messaging was small and then grew big. Moses went to the big and didn't necessarily start small. Moses should have started with, I'm going to put an end to this whole brick building and brick making process. And then we'll see what happens. And then then we're gonna work towards ending slavery. And then we're gonna talk about taking over the promised land. But he didn't. He went straight to for the home run first. And I'm thinking about it, it's hard for me not to talk about Israel every single Friday night. I'm probably going to do it for many, many, many more weeks. But I'm thinking about Israel too in the same message, right? Maybe you watch and follow along with the news as I do, but the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, did something really kind of remarkable just 2 days ago. He went to Saudi Arabia and he spoke with the leadership of Saudi Arabia, and they said that they would be supportive of Israel, they would be supportive of normalizing relations with Israel, and they also would be interested in helping to govern and rebuild Gaza for the future, which is all amazing. But what they said was that Israel needs and Benjamin Netanyahu needs to re-embrace and recommit to the process of a two-state solution, which Netanyahu immediately said no. Now, I believe, as do I think most Israelis, if not most, more than half, I believe that the only answer to this is that we do need to work towards two states, for sure. But right now, I can understand why Netanyahu is not wanting to talk about that. Now, granted, I understand also Netanyahu may never want to talk about that, and then I will strongly object to him. However, for now, I understand that he doesn't want to talk about it. I think it's raw right now. It's too soon. And part of the issue is that in the same way like the Israelites, that what we need is small victories. We need to be able to re-embrace life in Israel and recreate or create a new normal there. And to immediately jump back into the negotiations in two states, while I think worthy and valuable, but to make that the goal right now, I think, is a little lofty. It's not where Israel is. And again, this is not a question about whether it's the right thing to do in the long term. It is. But in the short term, I'm not sure. And I think that maybe what's happening is that the people in Israel, much like the Israelites, are feeling that sense of kotzer ruach, shortness of spirit. While there is no question right now a true sense of solidarity and connection in Israel between people, and a real sense that Am Yisrael Chai, people of Israel live, and we will continue to, there is no question. However, at the same time, through that enthusiasm, there is that darkness, that shortness of spirit, that emptiness which so many people are feeling. And for that reason, I think we should be taking hints and cues from what happened between Moses and the Israelites and why it is that they were having a hard time buying in to his plan. You know, Israel is a very special place. It's very important, and it's easy for us from here to talk about all of the things that Israel should be doing. And it's easy for people to get behind the news reports and say, all right, here's the solution to this whole mess is, all that needs to happen is Netanyahu needs to agree to committing himself to two states. And again, I really believe that's something important in the future. But unless you are there, unless you truly feel that shortness of spirit that so many in Israel have felt, then it's hard for us to be able to truly place our opinions and make demands of a nation which is trying its best to create that sense of new normal. And so the Torah portion for this Shabbat, which talks about that striking story of how the Israelites didn't believe Moses when he came in with what appeared to be such good news. It's a little easier to understand what they were going through, because it's a message which is not just historical, but it's a message which is both timeless, but more importantly, timely. So thank you. Shabbat Shalom. So at this time, we continue with Aleinu. This is going to be a different version of Aleinu than you have ever heard before. And I say that because I have never heard it before. I heard it once. I listened to it once. My point is it's one of hope and it's one of growth and about how that it's on us to make changes in this world, and it's a creative version of Aleinu. And so instead of, you're welcome to look at page 586, which is where Aleinu is. However, you might just want to experience this one without the words. 586, excuse me, that explains it. It's in the program. That's the best place to find it. But at the same time, since this is Aleinu, I think it would be appropriate for us to be standing. So would everyone please rise? I'm going to go to the altar.
Okay. Mary's going to come with you.
Okay, good.
It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were freed to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu lishabeach, it's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu lishabeach, it's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu lishabeach, it's time to live our praise. Aleinu lishabeach, it's time to live our praise. Ve'nemar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad bayom hahu bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. At this moment is a moment of sacred memory because loved ones of ours from our congregation have been called to their eternal rest. One we remember lovingly because he passed away quite recently, and others because on this Shabbat over the years they passed away. We call this their yahrzeit. And so we are in the period of Shloshim, 30 days of intensive mourning for Michael Raymond, brother-in-law of Don and Mary Ann Fry. And we also remember these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. Again, it's the anniversary of their passing. Charlotte Fishman, Sue Levitt Goodman, Rebecca Becker, Rachel Fox, Frida Kugelmass, Joel Charles Rinsky, Rachel Heimberg, Robert Heimberg, Robert Heimberg, along with Marty Beer, Henry Brown, Deborah Libby Dickstein, Arlene Gordon Pickman, George Kenneth Brown, Nathaniel Charles Gerson, Lawson Stewart, Morris Abraham, Sheldon Meisenberg, Florence Halpern, and Ed or Pete Hoffman, Nina Meissner, and Jean Schwartz, Helene Anthony, and Helene Krasnow, and Ed Landis, Ruth Lakin, Anita Levin, Eugene Levy, and William Romer. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them all with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish. You can find this on page 598 in your Siddur. And if it's your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechal beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei amaya Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yidromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiram b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. So our service is almost over, and thank you so much to Nashira under the leadership of Jonathan Buran. Thank you so much, because they're walking away. I'm going to say before they walk out, thank you so much to Marnie and Lisa Hoffman, Marnie Hoffman for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat. We really can't wait. Thank you so much. And thanks also to, I think, Hannah Feldman was an usher this evening. Thank you. Nice job, along with Heidi Schnapp. We are so grateful to you both for serving as ushers. Thank you to everyone who was here. I think I thanked already Nashira. And you guys were good tonight. Couple of announcements, worthy announcements. Let's see here. Elias is going to be at bar mitzvah tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning. If you want to watch him on video, you can. You can go to our stream and you can watch him, and then you can rewind it in case Eli made any embarrassing mistakes. You can rewind it, and then you can make a meme out of it, and it can go viral on the internet. Isn't that a good idea? Yeah. Such a great idea, isn't it? Love my ideas. Okay, also, just want to note that this week there's no Torah study on Monday in observance of Martin Luther King Day, and Tuesday there is no Sages class because we have a conflict at the same time. But I do want to point out that January 21st is a program sponsored by Hineni on green burial, which is a new Jewish perspectives on burial. On Saturday the 27th, International Holocaust Remembrance Day program here. On the 28th, we have a Young Minions Munchkins program for Tu B'Shvat. And finally, on January 30th, it's a Tuesday. It's a fundraiser for the temple. If you go to La Posta restaurant in Severna Park on Tuesday, and you have to have a flyer with you or show it on your phone so you can show them that you're with us, then the synagogue will benefit from you eating out at La Posta. I recommend grabbing dinner and to-go breakfast And then the synagogue will really benefit from all of the food that you are eating. If you grab a lunch too, then we're in good shape. So anyway, La Posta on January 30th. We are going to conclude with Motzi, and then after the Motzi, one final song, which is Shir Hamalot. So for Motzi, I'd like to call Eli back up here with sisters and parents to join us. And again, well, here. All right, you can just grab a slice if you want. Are you ready to do this? Yes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. All right, 635. Shir Hamalot. How we click. Do you know who Minnie Horowitz is? How much you like Minnie Horowitz? President's sister here. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shomer Torah. Shabbat shalom. Shomer Torah. Shir Hamalot. Yeshuv Adonai. Beshivat Zion. Hayinu kecholi. Shabbat shalom. 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 Wow, Shabbat shalom to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Nashira. Join us for the Oneg Shabbat.